First of all, I just want to start off by saying thank you, God. And I understand that my day will come when I'll not be able to say that. So let me say that today. I've seen perps of all sorts, of all caliber, from every level of financial you can imagine. Meaning that I'm currently employed, right? And my current employer, they employed me to try to gaslight me to make me acceptive of this manipulation. But for me, I'm like, I'm gonna embarrass them and I'm gonna humiliate them in a way that's just it shouldn't be humiliating. It should not be humiliating saying what I'm saying, but it is because what it is we're target individuals and test subjects, and this reality that's being repainted in this falsified way. And these people of all sorts try to make you acceptive of it, but reality is just so embarrassing, and they get so excited about these ways of putting things together. And I'm like, wow, really? You know how sad it is? Because you put things in perspective and you're like, oh, I'm the one who's a threat to minors, and you are the one protecting to them. It's so comical. Because for me, it's beyond just the regular fact that target individuals have. But on top of that, I know there's certain things they can't say. So yes, your minors are being utilized in these disgusting ways. And this, not your minors, as in not your children, they have these ways of presenting us target individual. Defamation is utilized. For example, me and a lot of target individuals, they try to make us, they paint us in these ways, making us think that we're the pedophiles and somehow they're the one protecting children. It's super awkward. It's super projecting. It's comical. But they really do everything possible to paint this narrative. Everything, looking for whatever they can, and it's not much. They could try to pick whatever they can, and the manipulation is even worse. With no shame. Listen, um, you see this video, right? Let me tell you how bad it is. I remember waiting for my Uber there. I used to live around that area. I'm waiting for my Uber. I see somebody coming, like this person on the bike. But she's walking, not on the bike. This is a neighborhood where there's a bunch of coffee shops, there's a bunch of restaurants, there's a bunch of bars. It's really at that point I'm living downtown, like I'm living like in the midst of all this nice place. I had like a little apartment there, just like right across like a place called like I'm not gonna say the name, but it was a very like popular place for going out. A place where young adults, which I was at the time, I'm talking about, I'm 29 at this point, right? I'm a 29-year-old living in this place where there's a bunch of bars, there's a bunch of restaurants, there's a bunch of places to go out for young adults, young professionals, right? And it's also very hipster like. So the young adults come from like, early 20s to late 20s. It's like around that age range, right? There's a bunch of places where you can go eat, you can go drink coffee, and you can go drink. I'm like right downtown, right? You can see that. And actually, this is a newer picture, but because now there's like a nice Target over there. Before that, there was none of that. All that was there is really like good places to go out to eat, to drink. And there's a few little spots here or there, but this is really a place where adults would like to be. I'm waiting for Uber. Literally, I'm thankful that I'm able to do that. I'm standing there. You see where that person with the bike? And there's this girl that comes in, and I'm thinking she looks like she's by herself. She's like a hipster kind of person living there, and no, a hipster looking girl, right? And she has that hipster look, and like that's the kind of area where there's honestly a lot of hipster. It's not like gentrified, but it's a place where it's a lot of it's there's a lot of artsy individual, right? I'm thinking she's maybe mid to early 20s, and she's walking by herself. This is not a place where just random people just like it's just by herself. And she stopped there where you see this like post, and it's like a bunch of like you know things about performance and things like that. And I'm looking at her, and like okay, she's like not bad. She's like a hipster looking girl. I'm like okay. At the time, I had like a thing for like hipsters, right? Like hipster girls, and I'm 29 years old. I'm in my 20s, and I'm giving her early 20s, maybe mid 20s. I'm like, okay, yeah, she's not bad, right? And Now you can imagine I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm very far from, not very far, but I'm in my 30s. I'm actually getting closer to my older 30s. One thing they've been doing is to try to paint this false narrative. So anybody that can make me imagine being underage, they gonna make me do that. It's like, no, she was a high schooler. I was like, first of all, this is not a setting where high schoolers just walk around. It's obvious. But you understand, they've done that to so much. If you go through my videos, you'll see, oh, how old is she? Oh, every time, anytime they can make me imagine that, they do that. To the point where today, I have to remind myself what a 20-year-old look like, what a 22-year-old look like, what a 19-year-old look like, what a 26-year-old look like. Because today, in my mind, if I saw these people, for example, this is a 28-year-old, I swear to God, if I would have seen her today, I could have think she's underage. It's like now, because they have the ability to make me think in certain ways. Like, oh no, all along was no, she looked like a 20-some-year-old. Now, please understand, a lot of purposes, especially at the time, right? There was like this same type of like purpose, like young adult 20, like hipster. And at the time, I don't think woke was a thing yet. I think maybe woke was coming up. And this is the area where you see a lot of those kind of people, like with like kind of eclectic tattoos here and there, living in the area. And like, no, we dare. We just like, no, that's what you wish. And the truth is, they can make me. They've done that to people who are obviously adults. Even people older than me, they try to make me imagine them being underage. They don't stop. And then you have perps that try to make me accept this. Oh, no, they like it. You see, that's it. And they try to find anything possible. One thing they've been trying to hold on to so much onto is for me, like in 2014, way before that too. It was like, you follow this person on Snapchat. I followed somebody on Snapchat in 2014 that for them is like, no, but see in 2014 you thought this was an adult. I was like, Jesus. So today, when they try to make me accept this false reality, false narrative, they try to use that. They are looking for what they can utilize to make me acceptive of these manipulations and pay me in this nature, because today they are actually using these minors, these kids, to frame me, and it's falsified. And these perps who are my employers, for example, they thank them. It's like, thank you. Oh, you like minors? Like, Jesus, this is not your kids. That's why you're out here pushing them to do that. You know what's going to happen to them. We think these minors are going to grow up to be normal people. And for me, I'm just glad, because it's like, you are. So I'm the one who's a threat to children. Really? He'll say the name of this man you're going to hear. You humiliating trash. They are forcing me to have this. Today, they have forced me to have this reaction. You see these people, they're adults. But they're young adults. They're in the 20s. Matter of fact, this person there is like a 28. You know the forced stimulation? Listen, I've seen a 28-year-old. Okay, I can definitely look at a 20-year-old like any man in a way that's sexual. Of course, I know. But I'm getting I can recognize the false stimulations. That even when they do that towards somebody who, in some circumstances, I can see them in sexual ways. I can recognize them. Like if they do that to somebody who's even a 50-year-old and they give me the fake stimulation, I can recognize them. But this is because they try to paint me in this way. And so I'm with the client. At this point, I'm like, it doesn't phase me. I'm just too validated. Imagine they try to like gaslight you. Like, oh no, but see that person, like for example, this person with the bike. Imagine you look at her, it's like, oh, okay. You're in your 20s, you're late 20s. It's like, oh, she's underage. She's a high schooler. Why? Because they can make you think this way, and because there's nothing to validate you. And these perps have no shame. It's like, okay, that sounds kind of stupid. How is he supposed to even know? Like this person can look like a 20-some-year-old, but not be. This person can like it doesn't even make sense the way they try to make you accepting of it. And to me, I know they've tried to manipulate that to make me believe like some adult or some kids, because they use their own kid. And you know, it's so nasty because my employer are hyping up these losers who are willing to sell their own kids, and they talk about how I'm going to be raped after I'm getting framed. But what happens to those kids? Not even a thought of it. Dumbass they are, as if this going, as if my torture and like their life doesn't continue. It's so sad in so many levels. I'm gonna be this person who just say real like random simple things that's gonna be true because I just say something that is just basic. You think that your minor, who's gonna be used to frame me, is gonna live a good life? You know it's not true. You have these perps who can't even say Roy Moore. Saying, oh no, you like it? Yeah, okay, please. You dare to say Roy Moore. Exactly, you're a warrior. Can you imagine that? For me, it's like, I know that this is a young adult. I was an older young adult. I was like 29, so at that point, this is an older young adult. And make me think, like, let's see this woman, this young woman, she's a 28 years old. Imagine me, a year older than her, seeing somebody in the mid 20s, early 20s. Now, for me, it's just understanding what they do. They are looking for what they can to paint this false reality. But in fact, then they bring up another thing where there's actually a child. But this is after I left this company and I'm about to leave to move to New York. At that point, I understood that something was happening. They were painting me as a pedophile. I remember my neighbor saying, "Oh, he's a pedophile" or something. That's when it was getting bad. Things got worse and worse and worse with time. And I remember walking the street before that, was around that time, and I see a kid, like she's wearing a uniform. This kid started acting so weird. She started grabbing her phone and looking at her phone, and she was like creating like in theatrical ways. It's not like she was actually scared, but she was acting scared. You can see she, let me pick up my phone. Like she was acting for me to notice that she's scared or pretend to be scared. She was like grabbing her phone and making look at, and I'm looking at her like, what the hell is going on here? I was like, why is she acting this way? Like what? Like I'm a threat to her. And today, the way they manipulate my memories of that, they're giving me perception of this kid. Like she's wearing uniform. She's like a middle schooler. Try to give her. Listen, they even try to give her a chest area. I don't even want to call it breast. A chest area. It's like, oh, Papa, why you looked at her? Imagine you're walking straight. You see somebody coming. You see this person. This person is like some student. You see them. Kids like high school, not even high school, middle school. She stopped grabbing her phone, like all nervous. And you're like, what the hell's wrong with her? It's like, oh, you see, you're eyeing her. They're such idiot. And they have no shame. No shame. Because today what's happening, right? Today and toward the end of me, like, about to leave to New York, they start doing these things where they will have kids, or at least one time before I left, where kids will like try to be seen. No, just one child in Chicago, in the other place I was in. But now today, bunch of kids always try to be seen. Why? It's because my brain can be manipulating me. They can manipulate me to have this reaction, these stimulations that falsify. They can create these sexual stimulations. They're known for that. And you're gonna hear that. I don't let them live their fantasy. I don't. Everything they do is being said by others. That's why I love this. Because I don't even need to continue to speak too much. I was like, here, this is not a memory manipulation. This is what. So there's a memory manipulation here happening in regard of how they make me have this perception of this actual kid. And then there's this narrative of this young adult that they can make me imagine to be a child because she's like a young adult. In the middle of this city that you see here. Can you imagine here? And mind you, there's like a Target. There's like, before that, it was just nothing but restaurants, bars, coffee shops, nightclubs, all on one street here. This is why I moved there. That's why I moved to that spot. I literally moved there because this is a perfect place for young adults that I was. I was 29 years old. Moved there, a bunch of bars, a bunch of restaurants, and a bunch of nightclubs. This is exactly why I moved there. Where I expect to see other young adults. Do you understand how stupid it is? And it's like, no, but you see that person that passed. Holy shit. They're making all the noise campaign. It's so sad. And it could be somebody who looks just like that. But in my brain today, as a late 30 person or mid late 30 person, I should say, when I see these people, who this younger adult, sometimes I'm not sure if they're adult or not because I'm so not so much older than them. But to me, it's getting a blur. Like these young people sometimes look like kids to me, and it's embarrassing because they try to find what they can use to make me accepting of these manipulations. And you hear this person, oh no, they no, you guys are the perps and the pedophiles, and it's been validated. And then it's been validated that they've manipulated the brain in these ways. And so for me, they're waiting for my Uber, seeing this young person who's an adult, a young adult, just like me. Well, younger than me for sure. Maybe 25, 23, around that age. Around that age. Me, here, on that spot, literally on that spot that you see here, right in front of this nightclub that you see, there's not a nightclub, a bar. Right next to this restaurant, right next to this coffee shop. A whole street for young adults like my age, where people go out on this place to this street for that reason. I see this person walking around by herself in a street known for their bars, their restaurants, and the coffee shops. In the restaurants, looking like somebody in their early 20s. It's like, oh, you see, you like them, you like girl, you like minors. I was like, what the shit? She looked like a 20-some-year-old, and I'm in my 20s, my late 20s. It's like, you see, that's proof. I was like, you guys are sad, pathetic, low life. I'm the same age as this person here. Did you see at the time? But it's okay. These people who can't say Roy Moore, a man who allegedly was going to the YMCA to pick up kids as young as freaking 14 years old, are painting me in this fashion. People who are renowned, these entities renowned for the issue with child porn. You understand what it means? They work for governmental entities where there's so much child porn being trafficked that in 2019, and the National Defense Network Abuse Act was introduced because so much child porn was trafficked that these people working for these entities are saying, no, see that person that passed by, you see that, you thought yeah, she's and making that up because there's no way I can be validated or I can figure that out. It's basically saying, imagine if it was true. It's like, oh, you guessed the wrong age there. What? It doesn't even make sense. Even in the circumstances where they were like, oh, but you guessed what? Wait. So you tell me that best case scenario for this purpose is when I'm 29, I'm thinking this person is in the 20s, early 20s or so, and I'm wrong? That's your best case scenario here. In your provings. Me, here, in this location where there's a bunch of bars and restaurants, will think that this person is a young adult when I'm in my 29s? Do you see how sad and pathetic it is for them? I'm so thankful to God I don't have to live this sad, pathetic life. And it's falsified because they do that all the time. If anybody who can be passed in my brain as an underage person, they will. They have no shame. They've done that to people who were even older than me at the time. It is the most sad, pathetic thing, but I'm so glad to put that in their face. And then go into my memories and falsify the way I perceived this kid that was acting so weird. An actual child, a child that's like middle school, like 14, maybe 15 max. Acting super weird. I'm like, what the hell's wrong? I'm like, whoa. That's when I knew it's like something is so bad here. Well, let me get out of this area. But it's okay. Reality is reality. These perps are just opportunists from the employers who are perps to these neighbors who even sold their own children. They are actual children. They're minors. To frame me and have to utilize these things to try to inspire them in the framing. As pathetic as it is. And you have these employers who don't have to sacrifice their kids, but I appreciate it for them because they're going to get to see it and watch whatever horrible thing I'm going to go through, but they don't have the consequences of dealing with their kids. What's going to happen to them? But for me, I'm going to put that in their face because listen, these men that actually who do these things, and I'm so thankful for it. I'm so thankful for me knowing this factor, not for what happened to those kids, to now this adults, but to have that knowledge that they can't say this name.
And go a food court.
His name is Roy Moore. To hear them say that name is just as if they say a blasphemous name. Listen, for me, anything that can make me remember the reality of things, I'm gonna see the reality and continuously put that in their face. Because the mean things they do to us, target individual, is so falsified, but it's so disturbing, and they can do that in every way. They have no shame. The thing is, they truly have to minimize themselves to do what they do. Meaning that it's so easy to do what they do, but it's so foul at the same time. It's so disgusting and so mean, like this. They like to say it to try to minimize how foul they are, how evil they are. That they have to actually minimize themselves. It's so simplistic to do what they do, but it's so. You heard what I've just said. You understand what kind of men and women have to, like, if you're an adult, to try to make somebody convincing of this after the validation that I have. Go listen to my last video. It is surreal. I mean, they literally say they have this personality. They have one of the purpose is to implant this false personality. You're gonna hear that too. I don't make this up. This is other people saying that they are implanting false personality, and they try to paint this personality, and they make people, not even make people, make you believe that, oh, we have so much proof, to the point where they make up things to create their stories. And you have people like, oh, you like minors? No, boo boo. I'm sorry for using that word. No, my friend. You work for governmental entities that love minors and babies of all ages. You can say the name of this man, which is Roy Moore. But you enjoy what this technology can do. You enjoy what these DOD entities that have so much child porn that they rank for top tier for trafficking child porn. Listen to the name they can say.
Even went to the mall to get into the holiday spirit. One woman recalls that she was 14 and working as Santa's helper at the Gadsden Mall in 1977 when Moore first spoke to her and told her she would look pretty. 2 years later, when she was 16, he asked her out on dates. He hit on one of Santa's elves. Well, a true evangelical, he's putting the Christ back in Christmas. Wow. And wow. It wasn't just the mall, folks. One Alabama journalist claims that Moore was also banned from the YMCA for his inappropriate behavior as soliciting sex from young girls. And don't forget, he did that while he was assistant DA.
You know what they say to counter that? Oh, we banned it. I'm like, wow, you protected kids so much. What's his name again? Protectors? You know, you can't say that, huh? Oh, wow. You know, they were talking about me. They try to, like, as the way they try to put things together, it's so falsified. Can you imagine? Try to, and what I love is like how they're so childish, this purpose. And I'm gonna try to calmly speak because it's comical. This purpose that they utilize, so you see them. You see this person, for example, in the pajamas. They this type of the type of purpose that they use their tone out. So, oh my God, we're so burned. So it's like I'd rather be burning. That you can say this man who allegedly picked up kids as young as 14 years old, 16 years old, when he was an assistant DA. And some girls, some of these kids would say, you know how old I am? I was like, I date girls like you all the time. He would do things to these kids, allegedly. Why can't you say this name, protector? With your money. It's because The people who put me in this program donated money to this man. After this allegation, he was running for governor. That's why this whole thing was about him. Those are the people who put me in this program. They donated money to this man after these allegations. Women came at this point, they're in the 50s and when I was a kid, this man would come to my high school, pick me up. Where I used to work, he's picking me up. We were on a date. I was 14 years old. He was the assistant DA. Now, this is horrible, but this man has nothing to do with me. But why I bring that up is because who put me in this program donated money to this man while this trash out here just come up with some storylines. Oh, how old is this person that was walking this street that's mostly for adult weddings? What? This is so pathetic to paint me in this fashion because this is what this program does. It's about falsifying reality. They're altering our mind today. What's happening today as a target individual with synthetic therapy and V2K? My mind is being altered. What it means is when I see somebody who looks like a child, at this point, it's not even a child, somebody who's, for example, these people in their 20s, right? Because they can be, in my mind, be passed as underage. They forcing me to get stimulations that I will not have. I don't care because they're adults, but it's not natural. And the reason why I'm forced to have these stimulations is because they want to paint me in this fashion. And these tactics of altering the mind is not just that. They are trying to make you identify to this, and they're falsifying memories. That's why this actual child is now in my mind in this way, where they even give her like a chest area. They will talk about her height because I have I have a thing for like taller women. And it's like, oh, but she was tall. I was like, what? She was a kid, obvious kid. She wasn't that tall. My brain is just my mind. They just trying to make her tall, like taller when she's just a regular kid, regular teenage kid, skinny and freaking, not even like early teen too, like not just like a older teen, like a kid. Trying to get her to like make me look her in this different ways. Like what? I was just finding out weird the way she was acting. But the altering of the mind is not only what they do, but the personality implant is what they do too. It's part of this cognitive warfare that we are test subject to. And you have perps that are doing their best to make you accepting of this. But this is reality.
That this person developed delusional disorder. This is a paranoid schizophrenia. But first of all, nobody develops paranoid schizophrenia in the 50s, in their 50s. This is, if you haven't developed it by 30, it's not. Then this technology exists. These nefarious programs exist. And it's hard to imagine for a person that why would you do something like this? But if you think about the new type of warfare,
cognitive warfare.
Exactly, it's a cognitive warfare. You don't have to kill people that you are fighting against. You can just degrade their brain. You can
you alter their minds.
Yeah, alter their minds.
Personalities rebuilt.
And it's like
personality rebuilt, alter the mind. It is part of that. Not only they alter your mind in real time, they manipulate your memories, then they create this personality. They have this persona they try to put together and try to pick whatever they can to paint these stories. It's so sad. You see this location. You know why I moved there? It's not to pick up kids. I moved to a place where there's a bunch of nightclubs and restaurants when I'm 29 years old. Because I'm trying to pick up people my age. Young adults just like me. You understand the stupidity of it all. And it's funny, as I'm looking at this location, I was going through like the nightclubs that was just like a block away. The restaurants, the bars. I used to stay like till 4 a.m. another block away. There's like I was like, you guys are so pathetic. because you're trying to paint me in this fashion, but you sad. You guys are the pedophiles. And then the one thing that is something that they hold on so strong onto is the actual when in 2014, I'm in my late 20s at that point, right? At this point, I found somebody on Snapchat thinking I never met this person in person and never even interacted with. Let me just say, I don't even know this person, to be honest. I never even said a hi, hello, hi, nothing. But I thought she was an adult. And finding out she was an adult, she just looked like an adult. It's like, you see it, but there. And they hold on to it like, oh my gosh, you like minors, you like teenagers. Jesus, you look at her. Even today, I can't even believe it's like, she looked like an adult when she wasn't. She looks younger today. Then when I follow her, it's like, this is crazy. It's like today she looks younger, and than what she looks then. And today she's close to a 30-year-old. In 2014, so today, as they try to paint these stories, they're like looking for whatever they can. It's like, you like minors? No, trash. You guys utilize your minors in these disgusting ways. The poor, I'm not going to call them poor kids, but the future for them is so fucked. But please get lost in my torture and how I'm going to be skewed and all, like as if this is going to change them. It's not going to bring any goodness. I'm telling you. At this point, they're going to torture me to make them forget the reality of what they're part of. It's not, the torture is not even about me being suffering. It's for them to feel like they accomplished something. Like they like as if the validation is that. My torture is going to be for them a validation. And they've been using children, clowns. They came and say Roy Moore, and they hate that. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like our children. You're like, yeah, right. You wish that was true. You know who's the pedophiles, because at the end of the day, this is the reality. The reality is they enjoy what they've been involved in because these governmental entities empower them. And they try to vilify me to make themselves believe and enjoy what they're part of. But you know who's a threat to children?
Why are so many pedophiles allowed to be given top-level security clearance? Remember, these aren't just people walking in off the street and saying, hey, can I get hired? Can I get a job? You're put through an extremely rigorous background check screening process. It's called an SSBI, single scope background investigation. There are people, they interview you, they interview your family, they interview your contacts, they go through your online footprint, they go through everything. So why is it that when they're going through these footprints, they're not checking, these digital footprints, they're not checking for so many pedophiles getting through their ranks? If it were up to me, you need to go into Congress, and Congress needs to launch a brand new church committee, number one, to talk about domestic surveillance operations, but number two, to ask the question, why are there so many pedophiles sitting behind?
Has come under investigation for links to the proliferation of graphic material called Project Flickr. Some 5,000 individuals have been identified as having subscriptions to child porn sites, including many DoD-affiliated persons. So this ongoing national investigation has now prompted the House to introduce a bipartisan bill that would help the DoD stop the use of its network to, quote, possess, procure, or produce child pornography. Joining us to discuss this, investigative journalist Ben Swan. So Ben, the Pentagon already takes measures to limit worker access to stuff like porn by rolling out what they call the Personal Electronic Device PED policy, where workers have to drop off their phones and lockers before entering their offices. All their online searches are accessible by security if or when needed. Their Wi-Fi access is monitored in digital security sweeps. So how is this happening?
Well, it's happening because even though there is a certain amount of limitation on access, those who are working in the Department of Defense, clearly it appears to be thousands of individuals in the Department of Defense, are finding ways around this, specifically by using the Department of Defense IP addresses and also apparently peer-to-peer sharing within the department's network. So this study that was done on this issue, and it is pretty horrifying, Manila, to consider this. It shows that the Department of Defense ranked 19th out of almost 3,000 networks in terms of peer-to-peer sharing of child pornography. That is absolutely incredible. This bill attempts to essentially say, look, we're not doing enough to stop it from coming in, but we're also not doing enough in the Department of Defense to go after those individuals who are being recognized as the ones who are perpetrating this.
So Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger is the co-author to this bill. She said this, quote, "The notion that the Department of Defense's network and Pentagon-issued computers may be used to view, create, or circulate such horrifying images is a shameful disgrace and one we must fight head-on." Now, the fact that the Pentagon workers, be they civil or military or otherwise, already submit to a gauntlet of daily scrutiny just going in and out of work, is it fair then to the tens of thousands who are completely innocent to further allow that much more government intrusion into their digital devices or the things that they're dealing with on their computers?
Well, remember that what's being talked about here is not an intrusion into someone's personal device or even their home. This is about saying Department of Defense computers are being misused to share, to spread, to access child pornography. And when you...
I mean, you know the way the battles they've tried to create in my brain? Somebody comes in, it's like, you'll scream. I was like, yes, I'll scream because people will torture me, and those people work for governmental entities where there's so much child porn that they're being ranked top tier for child porn trafficking. Yes. I was like, no, there is. It's like, yes, you're right. There is people with the ability to manipulate your brain who create false personas in my brain, rewind my thought process to make me accepting of this manipulation. They make me think, okay, well, what if this girl is 19 years old? Okay, well, that's the 19-year-old who I'm 29 years old. You understand? Like, you know there's a 19-year-old right now with like a 45-year-old. You understand how stupid it is? These people are like, this fitness model right now, like I can look at, like, wow. It becomes a joke. It's like, no, there is. Trust, you can't even say Roy Moore that picked up kids. He's such a dumb... Sorry, let me repeat that. They're taking over my wordage. You want me to dumb myself down. These people want you to be dumbed down. It's like, what? There is. She's 19. It's like, listen, this married man right now with it. And first of all, I don't think so. I'm thinking like, okay, the youngest I'll give her is 19. The oldest I give her is 25. I'm 29 years old. And you hear these people are working for these entities. It's like, no, there is. And they send this fucking child like trash. They're so childish. And the reality is they have these tactics of forcing you to have this nasty reaction. So what's happening today, right? Like I said, I'm in my mid to late 30s. Now, even looking at a 20-some-year-old just feels weird. With that being said, I can still see a 20-some-year-old and say, oh, she's beautiful. Good for her. Or mind you, I'm here where I see grown-ass 40-year-old with 22, like, this is nothing. They're so desperate to paint me in this fashion that they forgot reality. Can you imagine, like, Napa, she was 19 years old. Okay. She was 9, okay. I was 29. I see her as what? Young adult. I'm a young adult, but more in the old age. Like, I'm 29. I'm thinking she's like from 19 to 25. You think as a 29-year-old, I can these people are retarded. But this is the things they do when they do the nose campaign. They try to, because like I said, they are literally framing me. Those people create narratives, are framing me, using their kids who are actually children to frame me. And today, they make me have these things that they've done to others. This is what they're doing to 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 other target individuals. Listen to this.
One day that I was petting him, I felt strange. Ben said this: the slaves began a program of perversion. First was with my dog. I am very playful with my pet, and suddenly one day that I was petting him, I felt strange, in the sense of the word. I thought, this is strange, and then afterwards that strange sensation continued. Then in that moment I realized that was impost, so I thought, look at this losers, don't know how to put me down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing. And then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ass. So just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today, they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use of people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals. When I aggravated them, I usually called demeaning names, and one of them is referring to homosexuals. For me, all of the slaves are misfits, society haters, scumbags, etc. No, I don't have anything personal against them, homosexuals, but as my way to aggravate the slaves, and since they love to use children for the torture and stalking, street theater etc. Especially teenagers for the stalking at close range with an attitude, they are using them during my sleep in the perversion program, and so you can imagine what the slaves of torture are pretending to do to me. In the last days, as today September 9th, 07, anything I do, either watching TV or reading of whatever I'm doing, they brush me sort of say, I feel like I'm aroused all day and I feel the palpitations in my genitals for what I'm thinking, and since the attack comes so quickly, I realized my programming has been set on auto, in their central computers, no handlers could do something like this that quick. What made me realize, the slaves are desperate to get me. Unfortunately for them, they are facing a strong wall where no matter how much their computers EAP me, I know I'm not changing. As I said, I feel like they've been set up a beam where I feel constantly stimulated. I'm talking sexually, like a heat in my genitalia.
You understand that this is not things I have to say anymore. It's been said by others. This woman said that in 2007. She even called her, oh, they do this thing in this lab, the teenagers. And they forced me to have this reaction, this program perversion where they aim it toward young people and children. I did not say this. And then the brain is rewired through this, like at nights they do these dreams. All of that has been said. This is why they're looking for whatever they can. And I hear a bottom feeder working for these pedophiles. So now we mapped it. For me, it's just like, calm down. Because I get to see this trash. And they come with the same energy, and it's bad. Because if you listen to my last video, what they involved in, this woman too was sexually tortured. These people, they trash. You know, they try to say, no, but we see how you look at this. Shut up. You're just manipulating, rewiring the brain, and try to create a false persona. That's what you're looking for. It's so easy to figure out who I am. It would take 2 seconds. And they're just using, and these are the same people who tell you how they're going to frame you. So you got to understand, they let you know who they are. They warned you that they are that. They're framing you. They'll tell you they will frame you. Those are the people in your brain. I'm mapping, and I'm being big, huge quotes to say how bullshit they are. And they have these employers, which soon you'll see more pictures of them. Because for me, I bless them. I bless them. It's like, listen to how stupid you have to make yourself be. Look how stupid you have to make yourself be. Can you imagine you see somebody on the streets? You're in your 20s. And you say, oh, that person in the street. This is not just a random street. This is not where kids hang out. This is a street where there's restaurants, bars, coffee shops. It's basically, you know, a young adult paradise, a young adult place where young adults go to drink, to hang out, to you know, it's very, very like young adult place in this location. I love that place for that because as a young adult, I loved it. As a 29-year-old, this is amazing. I had a nightclub there, a bar facing my place. I had a coffee shop over there. I had the best restaurant over there. I had this, like, it was perfect. I'm hanging there waiting for my Uber. Somebody like that. Like, just imagine this person on a bike just coming there, but no bike, just walking. Obviously, you'll see her as like this is like a hipster type of person walking around there. She look like that's the kind of environment she goes and just. It's like, okay, you look at her, it's like, okay, this is like a 20-some-year-old. This is an area where 20-some-year-old. I'm a 20-some-year-old, but I'm an older 20-some-year-old. It's like, no, that was. It's like, you just make that up. But at the same time, I have no validation. I don't know. So you can make me experience whatever you want. For me, I'll put that in their face and understand the brain is gonna go wherever they want. Thankfully, this location is there, and I'm gonna put that in their face. And today, what they even do, they bring up the way they've manipulated me in this random thing. They bringing up some stuff where I was actually on a date with a person, a woman, and this random perp come annoying the crap out of me. I don't care how old she is. She's just annoying. She come by herself, sit in a place where there's literally nobody else but themselves. But she sit across me. She start acting so weird, and out of nowhere she's saying her age, and all of a sudden they force me to get stimulation. So you see that? I was just like, yes, this is not the case. This is a place where it's an adult place. And they're like, no, but you see, if we did that there, no, you did it there, but then over there is not the case. But it's like, no, we did that there and there. It's a bullshit story they come up with. It's like, you listen to your dumbness. Pathetic low life. And they're like, now we prove that you see we there. It's like, oh, it's so sad. You just try to paint the story. They have no shame. These people have no self-respect. It's like, now they're going to abuse. It's like, yes, I'd rather be abused. I'd rather be. I honestly thank God that they have to live their life. God give me strength for the horrible torture I'm going to go through. Because you just heard the stupidity. You heard the stupidity of what they have to make me. They are using stupid. What can I even say Roy more? But they are going to be brave enough to watch me being tortured. I'll run to that torture for this trash to get what needs to come to them. I have to. This is becoming biblical. You can't be this retarded for free. And I'm glad I'm here to make sure that they're seen for what they are. And they're like rats. I was like, I'd rather die in hell. You heard what they do to women. You heard what they do to children. You hear the testimonials. They even try to put the storyline like this. Can you imagine? When you try to catch a pedophile, you know what you do? You make an adult look like he's a child. And then, after you notice that this man or this woman wants this child, you catch them. This trash are trying to do the opposite. It's the stupidity. It's magical. It's so magical. And I'm talking about this date night where this person is just annoying. To me, I was like, this person is just the most annoying. She sit there, make all, and like, oh, you iron her, you saw her, you look. She was the most annoying person, and she was there to annoy me. As they're forcing me to have this disgusting thought, she was screaming. And I'm looking at her, just annoying trash. And like, no, you see, that's the same thing. No, that's not the same thing. Do you know? Before that, they started like bringing these kids. They were trying to like get my attention by actually making me look at women. And I think that's what was happening. I was in this place where there's a bunch of hipster around my age, or maybe like in the early 20s. She comes. I guess I'm supposed to be like, and she's definitely looking like a young adult. I'm a younger person in my 20s. It's like, no, that's what, and they come up with these storylines. For me, I make these videos because I know that they're gonna try to make me accept the stories that makes no sense. And I'm here to make sure that when I'm being kicked and tortured, listen to this fucking retardation. You guys won. Your children, you protect them so much. Thank you, God. This is why they use these childlike people. which they think all the time. To my target individual, stay strong and find yourself lucky.